sorry. Here. Listen, Pat came back, right? Sort of?
Well, Gord, though!
I know. ALB is inconsolable, so maybe I should be the one to welcome you all to a very special episode of Inside Between. It is our Gord in Memoriam, in Megordium special.
My name is Angelina, also known as ALB.
And my name is Nicole Stamp. And joining us live in the studio tonight, we have three amazing guests. We have Shaylin Pierre-Dixon, who plays Franny on the show. We have Between's executive producer, David Cormican. And of course, we have Ryan Allen, who plays Gord. And we also have a very special guest, one more cast member who will be joining us via video chat later on in the show. Stay tuned for that.
So now in episode 3, Wiley took Gord's advice to go to the Mennonites for Jason. So our Twitter poll asks, did Wiley make the right decision leaving Jason? Vote right now at Between Series on Twitter.
Right, and in case you haven't guessed, we have so many spoilers for Season 2, Episode 4 tonight. It is a huge episode, so if you have not yet watched that episode, I highly suggest you go watch it now. citytv.com/between, or of course you can watch it on demand.
And Nicole, I don't know if I'm ready to relive Episode 4.
Well, it's only going to take 60 seconds.
Fine. Okay, let's just get it over with. Let's go for another round.
Between 60 seconds.
Of Between 60 seconds.
Between
60 seconds.
Between
3,
60
2,
seconds.
1, go.
When we last left our heroes, Renee had just shot Gord in the stomach. Holy cow! Too soon for cow jokes? The gang tries to help, but sadly there's nothing they can do. Rest in peace, Gord. Adam's snooping kind of backfired because now Liam only has 24 hours to save Pretty Lake. No pressure. Renee breaks up with Ronnie, so he locks her in a storage container because she's been hoarding food from everyone. How rude. Franny, Harrison, and Tracy do some snooping, and they figure out that Mark planted the backpack. Let's go get him. Oh, no, wait. Mark's still locked up because Stacy's in love? Wiley and Liam are on a hunt to inject someone who's turning 22. Liam asks Wiley out. Dude, you need to work on your timing. Then they discover the need to inject Renee. Good luck, she's locked in a box. Chuck's got some serious issues, but he decides to table them for now. Meanwhile, out in the snow, Ronnie's after Renee, Mark is after Renee, Franny and Harrison are after Renee, and wait, Renee, it's your birthday? Why didn't you say something? Happy 22nd. Your present from Wiley and Liam is a big needle. Oh, and Ronnie is taking over your hoard. Liam's leaving Pretty Lake. Oh my god, did they just kiss? Adam responds by locking Liam in a trunk and escaping Pretty Lake. Franny takes the shot, Tracy takes the shot, Harrison takes the shot. Wait, Renee just got shot? But if she dies from that shot, she can't be saved by the other shot. Yeah! No sooner was I deep embroiled in my emotions about Gord when then Renee gets shot. I cannot handle more than one, shooting-related fatality per episode. So I think today we're gonna have to leave this Renee cliffhanger on pause, much as it pains me to do so, because today we have three guests and we're going to talk about what happened in this episode. So over here on the couch we have Shaylin Pierre-Dixon, who plays Franny on the show. Shaylin, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
We're thrilled that you're here and we can't wait to hear all about how this episode and its major events affects you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and beside me on the couch we also have the executive producer of Between, Mr. David Cormican, back on the show. How you doing?
Hello, hello. Doing really good tonight, although a little sad. I'm sad.
Right? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it more in your chest or more in your head, or?
It's all right here. It's all heart.
Right in the heart.
Yeah.
Ouch, the feels.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh. And speaking of hearts, tugging on all of our heartstrings today, we have the man himself, Ryan Allen, who plays Gord.
I'm alive.
You're here. It's nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm well. I'm better than Gord, that's for sure.
You're better than Gord for sure.
Yeah.
Gord is like stiff and cold on that gurney.
The worms are eating him right now.
I'm glad that you're here with us. I have actually like a really important question to start it off for you specifically.
Sure.
It's a really serious question. My question is, how could you leave us like that?
I think that's the question to this guy, isn't it?
No.
I had great plans for Gord.
David Cormican, what happened?
You can't throw this all on me.
No, I think it's in really good storytelling, at least for me, the thing I enjoy the most is when I'm always surprised. And this was something that I think was surprising to a lot of people.
Oh, man.
And it's engaging, and that's a beautiful way to tell a story, as sad as it is for Gord.
It
Absolutely.
was even surprising for us on the writing room, right? When Mike and myself and Rick and Sam and Pat and Jillian and everyone else, like and Mark, like we sort of were throwing all these ideas at the wall, and then this one came up as a very long shot, and then the more we were looking at it, it's like, oh God, we can't do that. No. And then you just sort of, unfortunately, sometimes you got to keep people sort of,
keep on their
guessing
toes.
through, and Gord is a huge part of the series, but it was just, it creates so much jeopardy for the rest of the cast when you remove that element of, he was always the hope for everyone as well, right?
Yes.
And that anchor.
Totally.
yeah,
That's an
it's-
interesting thing, actually, to frame him as the hope for the show, because I think you really, I mean, you're the one that says, you know, this town needs a little bit of hope, and you start planting with the kids at the orphanage, and you're sort of nurturing the next generation of Pretty Lake. I feel like Gord fulfills a lot of different niches
Right.
in the social fabric of Pretty Lake. In that ecosystem, he's everywhere. What do you think are some of the roles that he plays, and who in the cast? Who of the other characters do you think might be the next candidate to fill some of those roles?
Right. Well, I think he is definitely a provider and protector, specifically for the younger generation, right? And he himself seems to gravitate towards people who are also like that, like Melissa in the first season, and Tracy in this season. So to answer your question, I wouldn't be too surprised if some of the weight of protecting some of the young people fell on Tracy's shoulders, you know?
Yeah, she does seem like a natural candidate for that. She's spending all that time in the orphanage.
And Chuck has always been a guy who's a natural-born leader. It's just some of his choices at times seemed a little self-centered. He seemed to have tamed that a bit this season, but we'll soon find out what happens.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you really, I mean, I feel like Gord really has his fingers in so many different pies in terms of what's happening
Right.
in the town. And what do you think is going to happen for Franny, Shaylin? Like, what's the next step for her now that this huge figure in her life is removed?
Yeah, other than mourning, I feel that she might try and move on and maybe get revenge, but I don't know because she is really kind-hearted and doesn't really want to hurt anyone in general, but now that her brother's gone, she doesn't really know what to do and her mind's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, David, you know, you have this other big cliffhanger in this episode where we end with Renee getting shot too.
Yeah, speaking of
And-
hope. Like the harbinger of death here.
Yeah, so my question for you is, like, how many cast members are you going to kill?
Well, I don't want to give anything away,
No, of course.
obviously. You know, but again, it's definitely a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're left with it's her birthday, and Liam's got a lot to prove. You know, everyone else's lives sort of hangs in the balance of this outcome, you know. So
Totally.
if she can survive the night, even after, you
my
know,
bad
this
decision.
attempted, bad decision. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good way of labeling it. So.
Yeah, worst birthday ever, right? It's your birthday, and then it's like, oh, well, you're probably gonna be vomiting bile by the end of the night, and your hoard is given away to another person. You don't get to be the leader anymore. Your deceit has been discovered, and then you get shot in the belly and left in a hospital hallway. It's a lot. It's a
But
lot.
she still has great hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
you know, if nothing else.
She's stylish. She's stylish. So for you, I mean, like, I want to hear a little bit more about your plans for the season and what you think it does. I mean, to me, Gord was like, he's like the moral center of the cast in so many ways. So when you take that center out, what happens to the structure around it?
Well, I mean, when you look at episodes 5 and 6, you'll see exactly what sort of spawns coming out of that. It was a really tough decision to make, you know. We didn't enter into it lightly. It was, you know, heavily debated amongst with our broadcasters as well. You know, and you take that out, it's like then someone else has got to fill that position, you know, or others. Yeah, I think you know, people will be very surprised to see where it goes next. And also, you know, we're dealing with a very condensed season order as well, right? You got 6 episodes, so we're really churning through a lot of story in each of those. So there's a very fast pace to this show. And if we were a larger order, you know, 12 or whatever episodes a season, you know, something like this probably wouldn't happen till the end of 2nd season, you know. But given our timelines and how we have to pack it all in, it happens soon.
Yeah.
Everything moves quick. Yeah.
Well, I have so many more questions about the storyline between the two of you and what it was like for you. I want to hear about your whole season, and we're going to get to that shortly. But first, we're going to go over to Angelina, who's whoa. Angelina's over there, but I don't know if Angelina's okay. Andrew, you okay?
In honor of my favorite character in Pretty Lake, may Gord rest in peace, I put together a few special tributes. As you know, every week I create an original piece of fan art featuring one of my favorite moments from the episode. This week I chose to capture Gord and Franny because I just love them so much, and I don't know, they're just the best. They're everything about them. And now normally I don't do this, but I also asked our editor, Doug, to cut a special video tribute to our fallen hero. So let's take a look.
Glory days. Put the gun down now.
The law's on my side.
Last time I checked, you're just a rich guy.
It's a boy. My word is good. It's gonna be all right.
Hannah?
You know her?
Yeah, she went to our middle school. I never saw you after that. I was never much of a fighter.
Nobody made you judge and jury. Being rich doesn't make you right.
It's impressive.
What'd you expect? I grew up on a farm.
Thank you.
Both Dad and Granddad would be so proud of you right now.
Really?
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too. Watching something grow, take life, it's always been a miracle. I think this town could use a little hope.
Moving in Megordium. So Gord, Ryan, what did it feel like to watch that video?
I gotta say, it was a little emotional to see the journey that Gord has taken through both these seasons and the relationships that he's formed. And despite Pretty Lake not being the happiest of places, he was able to forge some really positive relationships with a lot of different people.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. What was your favorite? Do you have a favorite sort of Gord moment or a bit of the story arc that really stands out to you?
You know, from the first season, I really enjoyed how Gord and Chuck, while they were antagonistic towards each other head on from time to time, there still was a deep bromance. And I'll never forget the line when Chuck says, "You're the greatest hockey player I've ever seen." And Gord turns around and he says, "Glory days." Glory days.
Yeah.
Little Top Gun moment, kind of action. I really did like that. And then from this past second season, the relationship that formed with Tracy was nice, you know, because I think Gord felt a little alone, a little isolated, as a lot of people do in Pretty Lake, with regards to trying to help the kids and provide for them, specifically with food. And Tracy was one of the people who was willing to jump on that bandwagon with him and help drive it along.
Yeah, that's great. Shaylin, how about you? What was your favorite moment with Gord?
First season, I think it was when, well, for Franny, I think it was when Gord had found her after she shot the tiger, and their bonding moment together on realizing that they're all they've all got, like Gord and Franny, they're in it together forever.
Look at that picture of the two of you. How sweet.
He's thinking, you shouldn't have taken that backpack. What I tell you about taking backpacks?
Never pick
You
up
better-
the backpack. Lesson learned.
Yeah, leave that backpack
What was it
on
like
the ground.
creating like a sibling relationship for the two of you? How did you do it?
Easy.
Yeah, it was fairly easy.
How
I had
so?
so much fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was easy because I think Franny has a natural mischievous side to her, and I think that came out sometimes when I would get teased on set a lot of the time. I was brought to tears because she can really tease me behind the scenes.
It's true, Shaylin. You look so innocent, but then you get these little zingers in sometimes
Yeah.
that are
Oh,
really
yeah.
unexpected. What would you say about Ryan as an actor? What was it like to do all the scenes with him?
Oh, it was great. Especially like while we were waiting to roll, he'd always like kind of break out into song just a little bit. It was really cool.
That's
Gotta
nice.
keep it fun.
And you got to kind of watch Shaylin grow up. Like, I mean, literally, like, I think you're 6 inches taller now than you were when the
yeah,
season
absolutely.
started.
Absolutely. We're like the same height now, or
No.
almost?
Yeah, almost. Like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. but always consummate professional. Always ready to go on the ball. A lot of fun to work with. High five.
Yeah.
Gord
Teamwork.
misses you.
Well, Franny misses you. Yeah.
One tear. That was beautiful. We had this nice piece of artwork that ALB did of the two of you
gorgeous.
together. Let's
Yeah.
take a look at this because it sort of shows. Oh, this is like all the different characters. So we got a little Renee and Kyle, a little Renee and Ronnie action there. But there's the two of you,
Pretty steamy.
right? But look at this. Look at the sweet picture of Franny and Gord, and you really see kind of Franny when she's like sort of facing the world. And look at the nervousness, and then Gord is her.
Look at those
protector.
broad shoulders. Good. Yeah,
Do you like
Okay,
that?
yeah,
You like
I
that?
love
ALB. She's you can talk to
yeah,
her.
it's very,
She-
very lifelike.
Yeah, that's great.
You gotta teach her how to hold that gun, though.
Yeah, that
That's
doesn't look
not-
right.
Franny holds it way better than that.
You're a good shot on the show, Shaylin.
you.
How did you
Ask the
learn
tiger.
that?
Well, obviously with the help of Steve on set and everyone who's working with the gun, they'd always teach me like how to hold it properly, make it look realistic, because I have no experience with guns. And
That's a good thing. by the
yes,
way.
it is a good thing.
Let's keep the, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
good.
keep it that way. But it was really cool to be able to like learn how to hold it and how to make it look like you're actually shooting it. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And so I guess for David, for you, I feel like you have such a sense of the whole arc of the whole series and of all the different actors that have been on it. What do you think that Ryan specifically brought into the cast? What's the energy that he brought with him?
Wow. Well, Ryan's a hell of a performer, and he's always singing as well. I don't spend a lot of time on set, but whenever you're there, it's always a musical set when Ryan's around, which is always nice. And yeah, I think you really do embody a lot of what Gord is, just as a human as well. And I think that was really helpful for the cast as well, like a calming energy around this guy, and around Ryan as well. And so it's sort of, it's nice. I'm gonna miss that.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Do you feel like, I mean, I think it must be an interesting position for you to be in a leadership role in a show like this, because you work with people and you get to know them, and you're sort of like on this project together, and I'm sure you like people and you feel sort of really warmly towards them, but then sometimes you're called to make a decision that maybe serves the story in a particular way, but that might not be something that the individual person might.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, when we're on the creative side, we're slaves to the story, and we sort of have to take the personalities outside of it. And like we really have to go for what's the best idea. And we sort of, it's a little bit of a spaghetti strategy where you're throwing up every idea. No idea is a bad idea when you're in the writer's room. And it's just like you go from a place of plenty and many, and it's just sort of best idea wins. And, we really have to, whenever someone comes up with what we think is like that, let's ring the bell idea, we have to really go, okay, well, if we do that, what are the dominoes that are going to trickle down out of that
Sure.
with that decision? And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Does it get you into a big corner that you can get out of, or one that you can't? And and then you got to make sure everyone is totally on board with that direction too.
Yeah, has it been tricky for you, Ryan, to not spoil, or Shaylin, like to not be able to spoil what happens when people talk to you about the series? Like, how do you keep that gag order intact?
You just got to keep acting a little bit longer after cut, right? So you know how to do it when you're on set. Sometimes you have to do it in real life. And I think a lot of people also at this point are gracious to understanding that, plus people are invested in the stories. They don't want to be, like I had a family barbecue this past weekend, and one family member was saying, so you got shot? Are you dead? Are you gonna die? And everyone immediately said, shut up, don't tell us. So I don't really have to work that hard to not tell them, because people are invested in good storytelling on David's behalf and a whole bunch of other people that they don't want to know. They want to find out in the moment.
Wow, have you seen any fan reaction yet? Like it's just right this minute, but some people have already, do you know, like what do you think the fans are gonna think?
I may or may not have seen someone in the studio audience crying, but I won't name any names.
Well, speaking of the studio audience, we have actually one of our super fans is here with us today in studio audience. We have a parade of amazing super fans. Our associate producer, Sarah, is actually really hands-on with the social media presence of Between, and she is always saying how wonderful it is and how blown away she is by all of the comments and the tweets and the artwork and everything that all of you have shared with us online. So thank you so much. It's like delightful to see. And so the superfan this week, her name is Zoe, and we are so happy to have her in studio. She was so excited. And Ange right now is going to ask her all about herself and her questions. Ange, take it away.
Everyone who entered our Quarantine in Toronto Superfan contest. We had so many amazing entries, and I'm joined today by our superfan Zoe, all the way from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. How excited are you to be here today?
I'm super excited to be here. Thanks.
We're so glad to have you here on our set live with us. And now, all right, Zoe, so you have a question for our cast, right?
Yes. So my first question is, what was your favorite scene to shoot and why?
Oh, that's a good question. And what's your second one?
And my second question is, what is your hidden talent? If you have a hidden talent.
A hidden talent. Okay, do you have a hidden talent?
I used to play violin, so I guess that would be a hidden talent.
That's a good one. You could bring that out at a party and be like, look guys, I can play violin. I have a secret talent. It's spending too much money on shoes. It's a good one. I wonder if the cast has any. Let's go back to Nicole for some answers from the cast.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Those were great questions. And a little funny behind the scenes story is that Zoe was backstage and I was like, oh, Zoe, have you met everybody yet? Did you meet Ryan yet? And I pointed into the green room where Ryan was just sitting, and she was like, I did meet him, but I didn't recognize him. He looks so different.
I had my gourd turned down.
Yeah, you were in like Ryan mode,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Ryan's stealth mode.
Yeah.
So she asked really good questions. So first of all, do you think your character has any special talents? Like, does Franny have any special talents? Does Gord?
I feel that for any special talent that no one really knows about is how she can handle a gun. I mean, I guess you kind of figure it out in season 1 when she shoots the tiger, and now season 2. But I feel that's pretty much it for
It's
her. She knows
unexpected.
how to farm, obviously, because she lives on a farm with Gord. So,
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one. And how about you? Do you feel like there's a secret talent that Gord has that we don't know about?
Secret. I don't know how many. I mean, we know that was a really good hockey player. I also think because of all the backbreaking labor that he does on the farm, he has a freakish strength. I mean, he does string up that entire cow by himself,
yeah, that's true.
which I think is people might not see coming, especially after they saw how Chuck handled him pretty good there.
Absolutely,
first
yeah, right.
season,
He's a lover, right? He's not necessarily.
No, he doesn't
such
want
a,
to hurt another human being.
Yeah, but I mean, pulling up the cow. I watched that scene with my jaw dropped. I don't
He's a
think I could.
powerful man, Gord. Far stronger than Ryan.
Tell us more about his power. Where is his power concentrated? Is it more in the deltoids or more in the lats?
I think it's, as David Cormacan said earlier, all in the heart.
All in the hearts. Oh, Ryan.
Yeah.
So now the next question, the follow-up question is, do you have any secret talents as Shaylin?
Not really secrets. Like my family and friends know, but I guess you wouldn't really know this about me. I play the violin and I'm an athlete.
What sports?
Basketball, softball, volleyball, track,
Oh my
like
gosh.
sprints, long jump, long distance, high jump.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot.
So
Wow.
just all the sports.
Almost all.
All the sports. Curling? You got some curling in
No.
there? Hurry, hard.
Do you have a favorite sport?
Surprisingly, it'd probably be softball.
What position do you play?
Usually I usually play second base or shortstop.
Okay, those are key. Those are important.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. All right, so Ryan, how about you? Do you have any secret Ryan talents?
I studied Italian opera, so I guess that would be a secret to some people, sure.
It was a surprise to me. Italian opera. Would you?
Yeah.
Is that weird if I ask you to sing right now for us, right here, right now? Would
It's
you wanna-
not weird because you're really nice and I like
I'm
you.
gonna ask you like with this face.
Okay.
This face right here. Would you sing
Sure,
for
sure.
us, please?
Something in Italian?
Yes, please. Something in Italian.
Che giallita manina, se la lasci riscaldar, cercare che giova, al buio non si trova.
You put
Single
tears in
tears.
my eyes.
Yeah.
They're actually there. I don't know if the camera can see them, but I can feel them. That was beautiful.
Thanks. Well, I had great inspiration there.
Oh, stop it. Tell me more. That was wonderful. Oh my gosh, that was so. What was that?
That is Rodolfo's first aria from La Bohème, which is a Puccini opera, and they actually made a remake of it with a show called Rent. That's based on the same thing.
So does that character map to a character in Rent, the one that you just
Yeah,
sang?
Roger.
Okay.
He's essentially the artistic lover who falls in love with a woman that he doesn't get to fully love at the end. Unrequited love, like most good stories always have that.
Oh man, that was so beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing that with us. What a great surprise. That's awesome. So do you sing, I thought you sang musical theater. I didn't know you sang opera, but you do musical theater too, right?
I've done that from time to time, yeah. I did a show on Broadway called The Book of Mormon.
Oh, just a little show on Broadway called, you might have heard of it, called The Book of Mormon. That's amazing. What character did you play?
I was the bad guy in that. I was not Gord. I was the general who wanted to kill everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
What range. That's cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was a lot of fun.
That is really cool. So I'm really glad you two are here. Wow. I'm curious about what your interactions with the fans have been like. Have you had any like really neat interactions with people who've seen Between?
Yeah, at the fan zone with Jordan and Justin. It was really cool being able to meet your fans and just be able to interact with them and have a conversation with them. That was really cool.
That's great. Did they ask you like lots of questions or?
Yeah, they asked a lot about how it was on set, what you've worked on before Between, a lot of the simple questions.
That's cool. That's great. And how about you? Anything for you, man?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple stories. The most recent one was there's a particular restaurant where I go to have lunch from time to time. And how it works is you give your order and then you give them your name. And so I finished my order and I say, it'll be, and like, we'll just put it under Gord.
That's amazing.
Are you gonna die or what? And I'm like, I'm not, I can't tell you, can't tell you. But it was funny. And then she was like, hey, Gord from Between is here. And so the kitchen staff apparently all loves Between. And I was like, you guys have great taste. That's,
You must have felt like such a rock star.
No.
You're like, no big deal. Whatever. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was.
That's
well,
really fun.
It's nice to, when you work really hard at something, not to be too serious, but I mean it. When you work really hard at something, which is what we do, what we all do, and people seem to actually enjoy it, then it's quite a nice feeling.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm so glad. And I love that, I'm so glad that the show is getting the recognition that I feel like it really deserves, and the work that the cast puts into it is tremendous, and it really shows on screen. It's just a fantastic.
Go team.
It's fantastic. I'm so happy to be a part of it, and I'm really happy you're both here. And we have so much great stuff coming up on the show, including an exclusive sneak peek of the next episode that you can only see here, so stay tuned for that. And also, we have a bunch of different cast members who are not able to make it into the studio to be on this show, but they are kind enough to speak with us via video chat. And right now, earlier on today, Ange spoke with one of these cast members, and right now, we're gonna watch their awesome interview.
Thanks, Nicole. So we're really fortunate in that we are able to have some video chats with cast members who aren't able to join us in studio. And today, all the way from St. John's, Newfoundland, we have Percy Hines-White, who plays Harrison on Between. Percy, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
We're so glad to have you here. So Harrison is he became a really major character in season 2 and is sort of leading the Ferrells. Why do you think he chose to create this group instead of just sticking with his sister?
I think Harrison is really taking advantage of the opportunity of wildness. You know, now that he's away from any adult supervision, he's just going crazy, and he really likes it.
It's like when you go to a new school, right? Like you have the opportunity to make this whole new persona for yourself where people have no preconceived notions because there's no authority figures.
Yeah, and also he really likes having all that power among that group of kids because they all just look up to him. They think he's a total badass. They just
Yeah, absolutely.
They do everything he does, you know?
Yeah, and he probably maybe didn't have that before.
No, he had such a concealed life before that he's really taking advantage of being on his own.
Yeah, and before, I'm sure he was looking up to Samantha, and now Samantha was killed in episode 2. Spoiler. How is that affecting Harrison at this point?
Well, Samantha was the last form of adult supervision that Harrison had. So he doesn't really know what to do. He's never been in that situation before, and he's really upset by it. So he's kind of, everything he does is just more out of anger instead of just wildness.
Yeah, wow, look at this picture. This is like a very emotionally intense situation. Yeah, like I feel like you said, after his sister's gone, it's like any semblance he had of like listening to other people is just gone. It's just gone. And now like Gord has passed away too. So you and Franny have that in common, like a loss of a big sibling. And fans love Harrison and Franny. Oh, look at this picture. So cute. And Twitter is like blowing up about you two. #Franison. Like, how do you feel about Franison as a couple?
It's pretty cool. I've seen a lot of those around, but I never thought I'd get.
You're like part of a ship now.
Yeah,
What was it like working with Shaylin?
Shaylin is really fun to work with. She's great.
Yeah, like she brings such a maturity everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, Percy, all the way from Newfoundland, the most beautiful place on this planet. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no problem. It was good to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Awesome. So now, Twitter wasn't just going crazy for #Franison. There's a lot of well-deserved love for Gord out there as well. And we have our fan Hannah, who got a custom between candle made from the Etsy shop in the wick of time. And it smells like peaches in honor of the canned peaches that Ronnie and Gord fought over. And check out that barbed wire print on the label. That is so cool. Okay, and so finally we have a question from Ruby asking, what is it like working with an almost entirely young cast? That's a really good question. Nicole, does the cast have some thoughts for us?
Great questions as always. Thank you so much, Twitterverse. So I guess my first question is to you, Shaylin. How do you feel about this ship with Harrison?
Well, I think it's actually really cool. And I find that the bond between them is kind of built because of Gord's death. It's a good thing. Not the death, but like the relationship and his sister Samantha, and that's kind of how they bond and get together.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that happens in real life too. If people have experienced a similar, you know, difficult experience or loss, sometimes that really brings them together. What was it like working with Percy? How did you get along?
Oh, it was great. He's so much fun. He's always cracking jokes and making everyone laugh. He's so much fun.
That's nice. You two have really nice chemistry on screen together. Is this your first like romantic kind of thing you've ever done in anything?
Yes.
What was that like?
Kind of awkward at first because it was like kind of nerve-wracking, but after a couple of takes, everything was kind of just loose and you just had to go with it.
That's good. It looks really nice. I mean, you both look a little bit, there's that kind of heightened feeling that you have, like when you like somebody and it's all new. But I feel like you both actually seem very grounded and comfortable oh, look at that, in those scenes together. It's really nice. It made me sort of have like, oh, young love memories. Although I have to say, like, my experience of young love, the guy was not as suave as Harrison is in this scene.
You are.
Were you? Were you suave like that?
Maybe.
Ooh. When was your first like on-screen like smooch or romance? Have you had any of that kind of stuff happen so far?
Before Between?
Have you had stuff before Between?
I don't. No.
I mean, in between, Gord has a lot of romantic entanglements, shall we say?
Yeah, it happened, you know. I think that was the first. Was the first? I think it might have been the first.
Do you remember which one you shot first?
Yeah. With the Kiss with Hannah.
Okay.
Was Gord's like the first kiss, but there's a lot of connecting with people because of shared values. I think both Gord and Melissa wanted the same thing, and that kind of brought them closer together. We never got to see the fruits of that labor, so to speak, romantically, but there was something there too.
Yeah.
Gord's, he's a lover, not a fighter, as I think I heard someone say.
Right, and then we had the Tord ship too, the Tracy and Gord connection.
Which is another example of similar idealism bringing people together, right?
Yeah, you're both in the orphanage together. Look how she's looking at you in that. We got a good moment there. And look at you, you're just like, oh, I'm just gardening away. What? Oh, are you? I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
You're playing it real cool there.
Well, I mean, he's really into what he's doing.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that body language. That could be on the cover of like People magazine. That's like
yeah.
Tord.
You know what it could be.
Tord, seed planting.
Right? No, I think seriously though, both of them are quite passionate about protecting these kids, you know, and that's a very attractive thing to see in someone. Passion, usually, always, right?
Sure.
So I think that's kind of what the genesis of that relationship was to be, perhaps could have been.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what was it like working on a cast where there were so many, you know, young people on the cast? How did you all get along?
Oh, it was great for me because I'm usually with like older and people and adults, but this is like one of my first times working with the younger kids, which was really cool for me.
What kind of things did you do after shooting?
After shooting, not much, but during behind scenes, there was a lot of fun jokes that went around. We were laughing a lot. It was really fun.
That's fun. How about you? How'd you find it?
It was a lot of fun. You know, when you're working with young people all around the same age, you have similar interests, and everyone's happy to be there, like really happy to be there, you know? And you get to go do social things afterwards. Remember this one time when we went out for some pops, and we were at this pop place, and it seemed a little bit seedy. And I was like, oh my gosh, these two really big burly guys were eyeing Justin. And they came up to him and they're like, hey, buddy. I'm like, oh, am I gonna have to step in here? As Gord would do. Ryan and Gord both would have to step in. And then just when it seemed like it was gonna take off, he goes, aren't you that guy from that show Between? And he hugged Justin. And I was like, oh, see, there's some love out there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great. Cool. Well, while we're here, we have a bunch of cool stuff on the website, and you can figure out whether you are like a Gord. We have some amazing content on the website, including a quiz that Angelina and David Cormican are going to tell you all about. Ange and David, take it away.
Thanks, Nicole. So, David, how are you feeling about all the online love for Gord right now?
Pretty impressive, I have to say. That candle is pretty...
The candle was amazing.
Yeah, like, hands down, that is probably the coolest thing I've seen this week.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I love Gord so much, I totally get his character. Do you think you're like Gord at all? Because you had like a hand, I feel, in who Gord is.
I relate a lot to Gord.
Yeah.
Gord and Chuck, actually. And I actually thought when, I think what we're talking about now is the profiler quiz that we've got, right?
Yes, it is, yeah.
I actually came up as Wiley.
No
of
way.
all things. Yeah, I was very shocked. I
Really?
thought it was going to be Gord or Chuck. Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit of introspective information for you, that you're more like Wiley than you thought. I got Gord.
You got Gord?
Yep.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
And the best part is it's super easy to share your results on social media to tell all of your friends. And speaking of social media, okay, so this week our Twitter poll asked, did Wiley make the right decision leaving Jason with the Mennonites? So 78% of you said, yes, he needs food. And 17% said, no way, that's her child. What do you think of this? Like, it seems like most of you think that she made the right call. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think she did. You know, it's one of those tough. That's a pretty gray answer.
Yeah.
You know, gray area question, right?
Yeah.
I think she made the right choice.
Yeah. It's hard because it seems like there is only one answer, right? Because he has to eat. Baby Jason needs food.
He does. But that said, I mean, you know, the producer in me sort of bubbles to the surface, and I think, you know what, she maybe could have negotiated a better deal with John and the Mennonites.
Okay,
right?
so maybe you're not quite as much like Wiley as the quiz would think.
Exactly,
But
right?
yeah, so hopefully it does end up being for the best because it happened. So don't miss next week's episode of Between on City at 8 p.m. Eastern Pacific, or set your PVR to find out if it was the right call. But right now, it's time for our guests to battle it out in this week's game. Are you ready, David?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Well, after that very moving episode, we have a very special game for you today. This season, Gord made the controversial decision to butcher the last cow to feed the hungry people of Pretty Lake. And as you remember, this did not go over so well with Franny. So we're gonna give Ryan and Shaylin the opportunity to settle the beef with this week's high game, High Stakes. Thank you for the wonderful cowbell, David. Each player will put their butchering skills to the test with their very own cow puzzle. This is exclusive to Inside Between. You can't find this at home. And Shaylin, you'll have the red pieces, and
Okay.
Ryan, you're gonna have the blue pieces. The rules are very simple. Whoever finishes their puzzle first wins. And to referee, we have executive producer David Cormican. With the cowbell.
Thank you. Could you just repeat those rules one more time? See, I don't have a script like you. I have to write my own bull script.
Wow. Well, David is actually from Alberta, and I heard he might know a thing or two about cows. Is this true, David, or am I mistaken?
You know, I come from good stock, and I got a wide range of topics to discuss this evening. Yeah.
I think we might have you right there.
I'm embarrassed, but not that much.
So am I, but that's all right.
Shaylin and Ryan, are you ready to slaughter the competition?
Holy cow, I am.
Ready to grill each other?
All right.
Oh my God. All right, on your marks, get set, go.
Wait, am I the blue or the red?
You're the blue.
You're the blue. You're the blue.
You know what?
Ooh, oh, okay.
Oh, Ryan,
I'm-
yours is not.
I'm just here to
Settled in there.
rib you right now.
Yeah, so much for
I'm gonna roast you,
refereeing.
Shaylin. What's going on there? Oh, she got
Get
the short line
moving,
in there.
guys.
Oh, Ryan's having a little bit of trouble with the
Shaylin's
rib
doing
there.
really, really well. It's interesting though, like the
she got the head in
technique,
place.
because
Oh, that horn
she's
sticking out. The horn
definitely
sticking out. You might want to
going all over the place. with this.
No one's got
David,
the tail
is there
end
like,
yet.
is there a strategy to doing this?
I don't know. It's like good puzzling. Oh, Chuck's in place. Chuck is gonna get a.
Come on,
Man,
I dare you to go faster.
Ryan, come on, come on.
Shaylin's coming up. This is an utterly close game.
I am so surprised that no one put the tail in yet. That's like the easiest piece.
The tail's the end.
Is it the last? Oh no! Shit.
Oh, now's your chance. Now's your chance. Get that shank and flank in there.
Come on,
The
come
old
on.
shank and flank.
The old
yeah.
shank and flank. Sirloin. I'm learning so much about cow today that I did not
She's
actually
really,
know.
she is roasting you there. What are we missing? What are we missing? Oh, the brisket, of
Come
course.
on, Shaylin! Come
Of
on,
course,
you
the
have
tail
one
just
piece
went
left.
in. Oh, the flank.
Oh! Oh, come on, come on. Okay. Can you get it in?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun.
Victory!
Oh no! Oh, I think that Shaylin took it by like just this much.
Nice job.
Good job, you guys. So the winner is Shaylin at high
did not see
stakes.
that coming.
She's a cow genius. And as a special prize, we have a jar of barbecue
Thank you.
sauce.
Thank you.
Well,
I'd like to
well
thank
done.
Ryan.
For losing, you're very welcome.
He had a great part in that.
Yes.
In your victory. All right, so now let's see what's going on set with our on-set correspondent, Jim Watson and Ryan Allen, who have something to say about Pretty Lake's preeminent pacifist Gord. Let's take a look.
Despite Gord's peaceful demeanor, sometimes when things hit the fan, you're faced with only one way to get things done, right? When we get there, don't hurt anyone.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you had the most fist fights out of anybody.
You say correct me if you're wrong, so I will. It's Chuck who does. And I'm more of a lover. Gord is more of a lover.
Oh, Gord, definitely more of a lover than a fighter. Okay, so what did you guys think of this video? I saw you guys were like chuckling a bit to yourselves.
Yeah, I was thinking about how fun it was to work on some of those fight scenes. Both Justin and Kyle and I, all of us, we worked really hard to make them look realistic.
Yeah, like what goes into making a fight scene? Is it more complicated than a regular scene would be?
Well, Steve, who is our fight choreographer, kind of tells us slowly,
Okay.
punch here, punch there. But you want to internalize that and make that look natural, right?
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
also want it to not seem like we're professional fighters either, right? Because
Right.
that's not truthful either. So it's being
Especially not of Gord,
right,
unfortunately.
unfortunately, right? Well, he kind of. What's interesting, I thought, is that he learns in the end with the fight with Chuck was kind of close,
Yeah.
and then Chuck gets the headbutt in, which kind of takes him over the top. The same deal happened with Ronnie, but this time. This
learned.
guy
Right.
knows.
Stealing
Bam!
the move.
Sometimes,
Glasgow,
I mean,
Glasgow kiss, they call it.
Yeah, I feel like I maybe was telling myself this, but I feel like because Gord doesn't really want to fight, he maybe like lets them win a little bit. I don't
Yes,
know.
that's exactly what had happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, Gord had a few love interests over this season. So what's harder for you, a fight scene or a kissing scene? Two
What's
very
harder
different.
for me?
Yeah.
And, I would say that they are quite comparable,
Okay.
neck and neck.
Yikes. So how do you think that the our Mennonite friend Hannah will react if she discovers that Gord is gone?
She'd be like, I guess I made the right choice.
Wow. Okay, well, speaking of drama, let's take a look at an exciting sneak peek from episode 5 showing Adam confronting Liam.
Adam, I'm your last hope. Now you need to let me go and get help, or everyone in Pretty Lake is gonna die. Now you want that on your head?
Really? Is that what they pay you to think up? You and I both know that if you left with all that research, Horatio would have exactly what they need. And me and everyone else, this whole town would be finished.
Well, Adam is mad. Like, it looks like Liam is really in trouble. Do you think that Adam is making a right call to be so suspicious of Liam?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
The stranger comes in, starts doing all this stuff, is making moves on Wiley.
Again, another situation where maybe you're not that much like Wiley, because you're very suspicious.
I'm suspicious.
Yeah.
Well,
in a good way.
I'm a
You're
producer. You can trust me.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about this, Shaylin?
I actually am with Wiley on this one because I feel that you kind of already seen that her tumor's kind of healed. And it's like that's a kind of an indication that it may be actually the real thing. Yeah. And Liam seems like he's really a genuinely good guy.
Yeah, I get that vibe, but I'm kind of like you, where I'm a little bit more suspicious. What about you, Ryan?
Well, I think it's a very layered situation there because I don't necessarily, those moments when the actual good for everyone is hard to see because of ego conflicts?
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing is a bash of ego, and what's right or wrong is not really at the foremost of Adam's brain. In that particular moment, maybe.
What's also going on though is like Adam's got great intuition. He might not always have all the information, but he knows what he wants to know, and he's, I think his intuition and his gut's telling him, don't trust this guy, and I think it's for all the right reasons.
And Adam doesn't stop at anything. Like once Adam has like a fire in his eyes, it's like that's it.
Oh, yeah.
And anything that has to happen,
he's so
will
focused.
absolutely happen.
Yeah.
And he was raising his voice pretty good there, which doesn't always happen.
Yeah,
So it was
geez.
super intense.
Adam. All right, so Shaylin, I heard that you have a very special gift.
I do.
For Ryan.
For me?
For you,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, put down your special prize that you won.
Here you go.
Wow.
Okay.
What is this? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So this is us. Well, yeah. Me, Franny. And you, Gord.
Cow
and our
in a
cow
can.
that you shot.
This is it? This is what I get to eat for lunch tomorrow?
No. You have to open it, okay? It's a very special gift,
wow.
okay?
Oh my gosh.
It's just for you, okay?
Are you in utter disbelief right now?
David.
Well, I will find out what I am in a second. It's going to spring open and hit me in the face?
No,
Can I open it like
promise
this?
it's not a joke.
Speaking of disbelief.
I love the packaging on that.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a. Ow! Okay. It's a cow!
Holy cow.
Holy cow!
That's amazing.
Thanks. This is from you?
Yes.
High five.
Aw,
Thank you so much.
sweet.
That's
No
sweet.
problem.
Awesome.
Keep it near to my heart.
Just have his little face poking out, like, oh. Oh, it's cute. There
There
we
you go, buddy.
Perfect.
What should we name him? What do you think?
Betty.
Betty. I love
Betty?
it.
It's
Betty
the
is the perfect
normal
cow name.
cow name.
I was gonna say like Gertrude, but I think
Oh
Betty
yeah,
is
that
way
works
better.
too. That works too.
What was the
Okay,
name of
someone
your
get
cow,
off
the
the
one that
fence.
Gord killed?
I don't know.
What's
I
that?
Well,
just
you gotta
got-
know.
I just had
Come
a
on.
relationship with the cow. It's just like, cow, you're my best friend.
So you so
It was
quickly named
spiritual
this one
relationship.
Betty. You have no idea what your own cow's
You're like, I don't know
name
about this real cow over here. I don't know. She has a connection with cows. Look at how she won the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
She's a
yeah.
cow
You
fan.
I know
kicked
my
butt
cow.
Yeah,
there.
she won by the
Yeah.
old flank and steak, right?
There you go.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on tonight's episode of Inside Between, the Gord in Memoriam special. What was it, Nicole?
Magordium.
Magordium. Now, Ryan, do you have any parting words for our fans out there before you go?
Keep watching, because it's going to get even better. And tell somebody you love them. Tomorrow. Just do it.
Okay.
Why not?
I
do it.
will. Well, thanks again, and don't forget, we've got a brand new episode of Between next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Pacific Time on City, and don't forget to set your PVRs. And of course, that's followed by another installment of Inside Between at 9 p.m. right here. And in the meantime, you can watch all the episodes, the webisodes, the featurettes, and more on citytv.com/between. Join us next week for more Inside Between. Bye.
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 Bye.